Mohit, I think you can begin. Okay.
तो हम चर्चा कर रहे थे 47वें श्लोक के बारे में। कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन। तो केवल मनुष्य ही ऐसी एक जाति है जो कर्म करने के लिए स्वतंत्र है। बाकी जो भी जीव है वो केवल कर्मों का, जो उन्होंने भूतकाल में जो कर्म किए हैं उनका फल भोगने के लिए बाध्य है। पर हम भी बाध्य हैं, पर हम साथ में ही नए कर्मों को करने के लिए भी स्वतंत्र है। तो कर्मण्यवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन। हम पर उन कर्म फलों का, जो हमने जो कर्म किए हैं उनका जो फल है उनको भोगने के लिए हम स्वतंत्र नहीं है। इसके विषय में एक बहुत अच्छी एनालॉजी है, जैसे कर्मण्यवाधिकार। ठीक है, एक बहुत सिंपल एनालॉजी लेते हैं। इसके अंदर आप जरूरी नहीं है कर्म करने के लिए आपको कोई फिजिकल एक्टिविटी करनी पड़े। आप कुछ कुछ चीज, कोई चीज सुन रहे हो, आप कोई चीज देख रहे हो, तो वो भी एक अपने आप में एक कर्म है। मतलब बैठे बैठे भी आप अगर कुछ इनपुट्स ले रहे हो तो वो भी कर्म है। अगर आप कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो तो भी कर्म है, क्योंकि प्रकृति क्या है, त्रिगुणातीत है। तो लगातार आपका शरीर कोई ना कोई कर्म कर ही रहा है। तो इसके लिए एक अच्छी एनालॉजी ये है समझने के लिए कि आपने मान लो कोई एक जीवन भर एक लिटरेचर आपने देख लिया। मान लो आप किसी ये जो मूवीज मूवीज है, वेब सीरीज है, ये आप बहुत ज्यादा देख रहे हो। ठीक है, दिन रात आप एक ही काम कर रहे हो। सब सब्सक्रिप्शन आपने ले रखे हैं, सारा कंटेंट आपने अंदर भर लिया है। लगभग 4-5 सालों से आप यही काम कर रहे हो। फिर इस सब के पश्चात जो इन्फॉर्मेशन आपने स्टोर करी है दिमाग, जो आपने ये कर्म किया है, उसके पश्चात अगर आपसे कोई पूछे कि आपकी जो फेवरेट वेब सीरीज है, कोई भी होगी, तो उसका कोई एक ऐसा डायलॉग या ऐसा कोई कैरेक्टर आप बताओ, रैंडमली बताओ। आप फेवरेट नहीं होना चाहिए वो आपका, रैंडमली बताओ। ठीक है, तो वो क्या निकलने वाला है उसको प्रिडिक्ट करने के लिए आप ना तो उसको प्रिडिक्ट कर सकते हो, ना ऐसी कोई मशीन बनी है जो इसको प्रिडिक्ट कर सकती है। मतलब हमारे पास में फ्री विल यहाँ पर खत्म हो जाती है। हमारी फ्री विल कहाँ तक है, जहां तक हम कर्म कर रहे हैं वहां तक ही हमारी फ्री विल है। और उस उन कर्मों को करने से उन कर्मों का क्या आउटपुट निकलेगा, उसकी फ्री विल हमारे पास में नहीं है। तो यहीं पे भगवान यहाँ पे यही समझाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं अर्जुन को कि कर्म करने में हमारा अधिकार है, जिस प्रकार का भी कर्म करना है, पर कर्मों का जो आउटकम जो होगा उसके ऊपर हमारा कोई भी कंट्रोल नहीं है। जैसे वर्तमान में जो हम जो भी निर्णय लेते हैं, वर्तमान में हम जो भी डिसीजन बनाते हैं, उन वो डिसीजन पे हमारा पूरा अधिकार है। पर उन डिसीजन के फलस्वरूप जो भविष्य के अंदर उनका जो आउटकम निकलेगा, जो ऑब्वियसली उन पे बेस्ड होगा, जो हमने भूतकाल में डिसीजन लिए हैं, पर भविष्य में जो होने वाला है उस पे हमारा कोई भी नियंत्रण नहीं होगा। वो आउटकम जो होगा वो टोटली रैंडम होगा। तो उसके विषय में व्यर्थ चिंता करने से कोई भी मतलब नहीं है। हमारा अधिकार केवल कर्म करने में। जैसे आप किसी के साथ में एक्सपेरिमेंट भी कर सकते हो। उसको अगर किसी उसकी फेवरेट मूवी का नाम पूछोगे आप, तो आपको क्या बोलेगा, रैंडमली अगर कुछ भी नाम ले लेगा। उसको खुद को नहीं पता होगा वो नाम वो लेने वाला है। रैंडमली पूछना है ना। फेवरेट फेवरेट मूवी अगर रटा रटाया है तो वहां पे डिटर्मिनिज्म आ जाएगा। तो ऐसे आउटकम्स हम डिसाइड नहीं कर सकते माइंड पे। और जो भी हमारी एक्टिविटीज होती है, सारी एक्टिविटीज कहाँ से आती है, माइंड से आती है। हमने जो भी यहाँ पे इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर कर रखी है, वो इंफॉर्मेशन प्रोसेस होकर के और हमको आउटकम आउटकम देती है। और ये आउटकम्स कहाँ से आते हैं, ये आउटकम्स बहुत सारे फिलोसोफर्स ने अपने अपने इस पे थॉट्स दिए हुए हैं। बहुत सारे जो लोग हैं जो जिन्होंने क्वांटम मैकेनिक्स का डीप स्टडी किया है, उन्होंने क्वांटम मैकेनिक्स को और फ्री विल को एक साथ समझाने की कोशिश करी। उन्होंने भी यही बोला है कि जो पार्टिकल इंटरेक्शन है उनका आउटकम प्रेडिक्ट करना असंभव है। तो आप इंफॉर्मेशन जो सुटेबल कंडीशंस है आप सिस्टम बना सकते हो, पर सिस्टम से क्या निकलेगा वो आप नहीं बता सकते। ठीक है, तो फ्री विल यहाँ पर आकर के अपनी खत्म हो जाती है। अपनी फ्री विल कहाँ तक है, अपनी फ्री विल है कि हम क्या कर्म करना चाहते हैं, वो कर्म करने पे हमारा पूरा अधिकार है। और हम उसके लिए पूरी तरह से स्वतंत्र भी हैं, पर उसके फल के लिए हम स्वतंत्र नहीं है। तो इस श्लोक का एक अर्थ ये है। ठीक है, और कुछ हमने पिछले सत्र के अंदर भी अध्ययन किया था। इसीलिए तू कर्मों के फल का हेतु मत हो, तथा तेरी कर्म करने में भी आसक्ति नहीं हो। तो कर्म करने में भी आसक्ति नहीं होने का मतलब यहाँ पर यही है कि कर्म के साथ में हमको आइडेंटिफाई नहीं करना है, कर्मों के साथ में हमको बंधना नहीं है। ठीक है, अब कर्म बंधन हो गया तो उसके बाद में फिर वही कहानी है, उसका फल भोगने के लिए भी आप बाध्य है। और अगर एक हम जैसा कि हमने पिछले सत्र में देखा था कि अगर हम कर्मों से बंधते हैं, अगर कर्मों के साथ आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं, तो कर्म भी हमारा पूरी एफिशिएंसी के साथ नहीं हो पाएगा, उसके अंदर कुछ ना कुछ कमी रह जाएगी। ठीक है, तो जो सबसे अच्छे परफॉर्मर होते हैं वो क्या करते हैं, वो ऑडियंस की तरफ ध्यान नहीं देते, वो खुद की तरफ ध्यान देते हैं कि मेरा जो कर्म है वो कितनी समता भाव के साथ में कर रहा हूँ, मुझे जय उससे उससे होने वाले लाभ हानि जय पराजय के विषय में कोई भी चिंता नहीं है, मैं कर्म को करने के लिए कर्म को कर रहा हूँ। ठीक है, उसमें मेरी कोई भी किसी भी प्रकार की अहंकार या आसक्ति नहीं। तो इसका एक अर्थ ये भी है, वैसे इसके ऊपर बहुत व्याख्या की जा सकती है, पर आज हम हमारे चर्चा को श्लोक 47 तक ही सीमित रखेंगे। आशा है आपको समझ में आया होगा इनके अर्थ, इन श्लोकों के अर्थ। और इसी के साथ में यहाँ पर अपना आज के सत्र को विराम दूं। सभी को धन्यवाद।
जय श्री कृष्णा। आज के सत्र को इतने सुंदरता से आगे ले जाने के लिए मैं मोहित का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करती हूँ। और इसी में आगे बढ़ते हुए अब मैं इन्हीं श्लोकों का एक छोटा सा वर्णन रखूंगी आगे। तो भगवान ने 31वीं से 37वें श्लोक तक कर्तव्य विज्ञान की बात कही है। कर्तव्य कर्म करने से लाभ और ना करने से हानि का वर्णन किया। अब यहाँ से 53वें श्लोक तक योग विज्ञान की बात कहते हैं। कर्म योग के दो विभाग हैं, कर्तव्य विज्ञान और योग विज्ञान। पूर्व श्लोक में भगवान ने जिस समता की बात कही है वह सांख्य योग और कर्म योग दोनों साधनों से प्राप्त हो सकती है। शरीर और शरीर के विभाग को जानकर शरीर विभाग से संबंध विच्छेदन करना सांख्य योग है, तथा कर्तव्य और अकर्तव्य के विभाग को जानकर अकर्तव्य विभाग का त्याग और कर्तव्य का पालन करना कर्म योग है। मनुष्य को दोनों में से किसी भी एक साधना का अनुष्ठान करके इस समता को प्राप्त कर लेना चाहिए, कारण कि समता आने से मनुष्य कर्म बंधन से मुक्त हो जाता है। तो गीता व्यवहार में परमार्थ की विलक्षण कला बताती है, जिससे मनुष्य प्रत्येक परिस्थिति में रहते हुए तथा शास्त्र विहित सब तरह का व्यवहार करते हुए भी अपना कल्याण कर सके। अन्य ग्रंथ तो प्राय यह कहते हैं कि अगर अपना कल्याण चाहते हो तो सब कुछ त्याग कर साधु को जाओ, एकांत में चले जाओ, क्योंकि व्यवहार और परमार्थ दोनों एक साथ नहीं चल सकते। परंतु गीता कहती है कि आप जहाँ हैं, जिस मत को मानते हैं, जिस सिद्धांत को मानते हैं, जिस धर्म, संप्रदाय, वर्ण, आश्रम आदि को मानते हैं, उसी को मानते हुए गीता के अनुसार चलो तो कल्याण कल्याण हो जाएगा। एकांत में रहकर वर्षों तक साधना करने पर ऋषि मुनियों को जिस तत्व की प्राप्ति होती थी, उसी तत्व की प्राप्ति गीता के अनुसार व्यवहार करते हुए हो जाएगी। सिद्धि असिद्धि में सम रहकर निष्काम भाव पूर्व कर्तव्य कर्म करना ही गीता के अनुसार व्यवहार करना है। युद्ध से बढ़कर घोर परिस्थिति तथा प्रवृत्ति और क्या होगी, जब युद्ध जैसी घोर परिस्थिति में भी मनुष्य अपना कल्याण कर सकता है, तो फिर ऐसी कौन सी परिस्थिति होगी जिसमें रहते हुए मनुष्य अपना कल्याण ना कर सके। गीता के अनुसार एकांत में आसन लगाकर ध्यान करने से भी कल्याण हो सकता है, जो कि गीता के 8वें अध्याय के 10वें से 13वें श्लोक में लिखा गया है। और युद्ध करने से भी कल्याण हो सकता है। अर्जुन ना तो स्वर्ग चाहते हैं न राज्य चाहते हैं, वे केवल युद्ध से होने वाले पाप से बचना चाहते हैं। इसीलिए भगवान मानो यह कहते हैं कि अगर तू स्वर्ग और राज्य नहीं चाहता, तो पाप से बचना चाहता है, तो युद्ध रूप कर्तव्य को समता पूर्वक कर, फिर तुझे पाप नहीं लगेगा। कारण कि पाप लगने में हेतु युद्ध नहीं है, परंतु विषमता, पक्षपात, कामना, स्वार्थ, अहंकार है। युद्ध तो तेरा कर्तव्य है, कर्तव्य ना करने से और अकर्तव्य करने से ही पाप लगता है। पूर्व श्लोक में भगवान ने अर्जुन से मानो यह कहा है कि अगर तू राज्य तथा स्वर्ग की प्राप्ति चाहे, तो भी तेरे लिए कर्तव्य के पालन करना ही उचित है। और इस श्लोक में मानो यह कहते हैं कि अगर तू राज्य तथा स्वर्ग की प्राप्ति ना चाहे, तो भी तेरे लिए समता पूर्वक कर्तव्य के पालन करना ही उचित है। तात्पर्य है कि अपने कर्तव्य का त्याग किसी भी स्थिति में उचित नहीं है। तो इसी के साथ इन्हीं श्लोकों का और आगे वर्णन करने के लिए मैं सुदीप भैया को आमंत्रित करती हूँ। धन्यवाद।
नमस्ते, जय श्री कृष्णा सभी को। अ, आज का सत्र को खूबसूरती से आगे बढ़ाने के लिए मोहित और अल्पना का कोटिशः धन्यवाद। और मैं इस सत्र में माध्यम अपने वाचन का अंग्रेजी रखूंगा। और आज हम जैसा कि आपको विदित है कि हम कर्मयोग से संबंधित जो श्लोक हैं, श्लोक संख्या 39-38 से लेकर 41 तक का अध्ययन कर रहे हैं। और इस संदर्भ में हम लोगों ने देखा प्रारंभ में किस तरीके से मोहित ने निर्वाण शतकम और सांख्य योग और आत्मा के स्वरूप को खूबसूरती से समझाया। इसके उपरांत उनने कर्म योग को बहुत ही सुंदरता से समझाने का प्रयास किया। और मैं आज अपना वाचन अंग्रेजी में करूंगा और बहुत कुछ वो करूंगा, वो सारी चीजें कहने का प्रयास करूंगा अपनी तरफ से और ईश्वर की कृपा से कि किस तरीके से हम ये वो संदर्भ है जहां हम लोग बहुत ज्यादा फंसते भी हैं अपने दैनिक दिनचर्या में। और यहाँ पर बहुत कुछ जिसको आप डबल कोट में कह सकते हैं, प्रैक्टिकल थॉट्स जाहिर किए जा सकते हैं। हालांकि जो मोहित मोहित ने कह दिया और जितना उन्होंने समझा दिया उसके अतिरिक्त कुछ भी नहीं है। पर फिर भी मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि अपनी तरफ से मैं कुछ समझा पाऊं। Sorry. So, in the previous lectures, we have had discussed about the Brahma, Maya, the oneness of the Brahma, the projecting and wheeling powers of Maya, individual, his existence, his duties and responsibilities. And most of the things have been well described by my previous speaker, Mohit. And also, he drew parallels between the oneness with the Brahma. He also drew the parallels between the real form of the self and from the Gita. And also, he drew the parallel with the Nirvan Shatakam. Although all these understandings were good, we need to make the spiritual understanding a living experience. And how can we do so? We can do so by the purification of our minds. So, um, coming back to the point, ki whenever we read about all these Vedantic things and philosophies like Aham Brahmasmi or Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, all these things seems very fancy to us, isn't it? And it feels that we are getting there slowly. But as we keep our book aside, as we keep our videos aside, as we keep our influences aside, we come back to the same realities of the life. All those incredible Vedantic thoughts that have been poured right now by Mohit and they have been poured by many intellectuals all around the world, we come back crushing to our real life. The same is true when we visit the temple, probably do some puja. We feel very serene, very peaceful, very calm when we are at temple. But when we come outside, that spiritual high state that we have achieved goes to zero. See, one of the primary reasons for this is the distracted mind. Mind always wants to get engaged, impacted by else inside, everything happening in the world. And further, to make the matter worse, we'll have dislikes, we'll have likes, we'll have our own choices and everything. All these distractions are so intense that even if we try to meditate via apps or anything, we don't feel any calmness. The only solution to this distraction is to purify our minds. And to purify our minds, what does that mean? And this is what Bhagwan Krishna is saying in all these things, that how will we bring all these teachings to our practical life? How are we going to make it all the more practicable is what is what is being said in all these shlokas. Okay. And so Krishna says that um, Krishna says that एषा ते अभिहितः सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे तिम शृणु बुद्धयो युक्तौ यया पार्थ कर्म बंध प्रहायसी. He explains that I have already explained to you the Sankhya Yoga, which analytically explains the nature of the Brahma. Now, Arjun, I'm telling you about, I'm revealing you about the Buddhi Yoga, which we right now are saying that it is a Karma Yoga. Bhagavan Krishna says it Buddhi Yoga. And what is the beauty of this Buddhi Yoga that he's going to tell in the next slokas? From this, you are going to get freed from the bondage of the karma. And as we can see that Bhagavan Krishna has used the Sankhya Yoga for the Gyan Yoga and Buddhi Yoga for the Karma Yoga here. And Krishna says that following this Karma Yoga, you will be freed from the bondages of the karma. So this is what Krishna says. And why are we bound? Because our mind is not pure. And why our mind is not pure? What are the reasons? They are simply distractions, restlessness, likes, dislikes, desires, wants. And ultimately, what we want to achieve, we want to embark on our journey of the spiritual experience. Okay. So, what is the goal? What is the focus? And what is the resolve? Okay. So, if you go back to like Steve Jobs, uh, one of the people asked Steve Jobs, what is that particular thing that you do at Apple? And to his surprise of you all, his answer was no. And the same applies to the worldly things and to the spiritual life also. Always say no to the mediocre things. Okay. Whether it is a practical life or it is a spiritual life, say no to the mediocre things. Instead, focus on things which can make you excel. By looking at their success, this approach seems to work very exceedingly good for them. The same approach that Apple founder Steve Jobs would have said, I'm saying that apply the same approach to the spiritual path. If we want to achieve success in spiritual path, we want to achieve the Nirvikalp Samadhi, and if we want to go beyond Nirvikalp Samadhi, we have to make it the goal and the priority of our life. It cannot be like spirituality cannot be one of your bucket lists that you want to fulfill. Half-hearted efforts are not going to take you anywhere. And this is what in the words of Saint Mirabai, I want to portray that I'm owned by Girdhar Gopal and there is nobody except mere to Girdhar Gopal, dusro na koi, jaake sir mukut mero pati soi. छाड़ी दई कुल की कहानी कहाँ करिए कोई संतन ढिंग बैठी बैठी लोक लाज कोई असुवन जल सींच सींच प्रेम बेल बोई अब तो बेल फैल गई आनंद फल हुई भगति देखी राजी हुई जगती देखी रोई दासी मीरा लाल गिरधर तारो अब मोही. That is what I want to focus all again. That what should be our focus when we are on to spiritual path. All these issues that we are facing in our life, they are just mediocre things that are not even worth addressing. So your goal, your focus, your resolve should be one and only one when you are onto it. And it is not easy to make the spirituality the goal of your life, right? It is not easy to make the spirituality goal of your life. It is not easy to say no to the temptation, but that is what is going to separate us from the folks that are around, who are the all around the material pursuits. And to assert this importance, Lord Krishna says, "Vyavasai atmika buddhihir eka iha kurunandana bahushakha hanyantaha cha buddhya avasyana." O descendant of the Kurus, the intellect of those who are on the path is resolute. That is, if you're determined like whom? Determined like Mirabai. And their aim is one pointed. But the intellect of those who are irresolute is many branched. That is, he wants to say, Arjun, whose single-minded attention or single-minded determination is to succeed, is to go on the spiritual path, they are bound to succeed. Others who are there in the spiritual pursuits and material pursuits, and they are just fooling them around. They have their minds scattered in all direction, and they cannot much progress. Now, one of the issues that we are facing right now is FOMO, that is fear of missing out, right? And the primary reason we do all sort of unnecessary things in our life is just this. If we don't participate in each of these things, we feel that, okay, we are socially secluded, or probably we are socially segregated, we are not socially acceptable or so on. And at times we get so busy that we don't even find time to fulfill our even duties. Leave spirituality. Okay, leave spirituality. Because of this FOMO, we are not even able to finish our own duties. So even when spiritual journey starts, there are still many areas where one needs to be watchful. Okay, so for example, uh, when you start reading Bhagavad Gita, we get attracted to the story of Mahabharata, its beautiful language. Then we start thinking about what happened in Mahabharata and all sort of things, the presentation, the poetry, most, and in this process we completely forget the higher goal of why we are reading Gita. Okay, and we completely get distracted. This I'm saying for the spiritual things also. For example, when we started our journey, people were very much interested in finding out that whether this thing happened or not, or probably how did the Sanjay get Divya Drishti, and all sort of nonsense question will come to our mind, and this is human nature, but we'll not be able to focus our things on. And understand that with the help of conviction and resolve only, we'll be able to choose what is needed and what needs to be discarded. We have to make essence of scriptures and not get entangled in the all these fancy things that we uh, which may get us distracted. And most importantly, we'll have to get over the temptation of comfort, luxury, the sensory pleasure that heaven offers us. Instead, focus on ultimate spiritual attention, destination. And this is what Krishna is going to say. And Krishna says and highlights his danger and says that uh, some get attracted to fancy and flowery words of the Vedas, and some of them gets to advocating the rituals for going to the heavens. And in that way, they start missing out the higher goals. And that is what Lord Krishna says in the Shlok Sankhya 42, that is Yami Mama Pushpitam Vacham Pravadanti Aviprishitah Vedavadarataha Partha Na Anyat Asti Iti Vadinah. Means those who have limited understanding, they get distracted towards all these flowery words, the ritualistic things that may lead them to the heaven and all sort of thing. This is not going to lead them anywhere, and they are going to miss the higher goals which Lord Krishna is actually indicating to Arjun. Further, he goes on to say that due to that, they only glorify those hymns of the Vedas and talk of the ritualistic ceremonies for attaining higher birth, luxury, sensual pleasure, elevation to heavens. So even if you remember in last lecture also, Mohit rightly pointed out that even sattva means not that good. He was saying that you have to go beyond all these things. And further, Lord Krishna in 44th slok also says that if your mind is intensely attached to rituals, worldly pleasure, they will you will not be able to end up getting a spiritual path. So this is what is said in the shloks 42, 43, 44. 43 is kamatmanah swarga para janma karma phala pradam kriya vishesh bahulam bhoger aishwarya gatim prati. And further, if we go and what we want to what we should learn from all these things is that uh, if we want to get if we get our priorities right, if our get our efforts right, we don't need to use any stepping stone. Instead, we can directly aim for the ultimate goal. And our ultimate goal is, you should be very much focused, you should be very much clear that we are nothing but we are the travelers. Okay, this is what I feel, that we are just traveler. uh, we are in a train and we are going to a destination. All the people that we are meeting are just people who, like, let's say we are in train. What we do, people come, meet, we grace each other, and whenever a destination come, they go to their destination, we go to our destination, but we don't forget our destination, right? So we have to understand that all these things, material desires and all these things, are going to come and go. All these relationships are going to come and go. Our destination should be very much clear and we should be focused about that. So that is what brings me to the core of the topic, which is going beyond material desires. Okay. So we do all prayers, rituals, pujas, probably vrats and everything, and which are given in scriptures. I'm not condemning them, but the point is that what is the purpose? The purpose is, after all, health, probably wealth. We want to get prosperity. We want to save ourselves from some sort of difficulty. But it's logical to ask that, let's say, if our goal of our lives is to attain self-realization, then why do our scripture help us in material gains? See, this is what everybody says now. If we want to really attain self-realization, then our scripture should advocate only and only this. But they're advocating mantras also, they're advocating everything. Okay, uh, like everything. Like, for example, if I want to get something, there are pujas and mantras. So point is this: understand that life is tough, and unpredictable and unforgiving. Due to these things, prayers, vrats, pujas will obviously help us in developing some sort of mental strength to feel all those difficulties, to face all those difficulties. And only if you are at a stable mind, only then you can focus on the right path of the goal. If you are so much, if you get so much wavered by these things, then how would you proceed to the bigger aim of your life, right? So these are very powerful tools, and if done correctly with Shraddha, they will also give you the result also. But understand, this is the only reason why we have why our manishis have included them in our scriptures. Okay, but in this way you can say that okay, our life's problem will be reduced to some extent, right? But we have to go beyond them. Okay, and this is what I want to explain in this particular shlok 45 and 44, that our lives are governed by three gunas, that were rightly pointed out by my previous speaker Mohit also. That is, three gunas are sattva, rajas and tamas. And in today's world, uh, the way we have prayers, karm kand, these are mainly for the worldly gains. Okay, uh, therefore Krishna in this particular slok also goes on to say, I want to actually quote that particular thing. Okay, but okay, I'll quote that particular thing later on. Okay, but understand that uh, for basic needs we are going to go for the karma kand. Okay, and but for the spiritual journey we have to embark upon the journey of Upanishads. We have to embark upon the journey of self inquiry. We have to embark upon the journey what Nirvan Shatakam wants to say, says to what wants to address us. That is, we are neither body, neither mind. If we are Atma, we can never be Bhokta, we cannot be Bhojyam. This is what Nirvan Shatakam has said. And therefore, Krishna also says the same. He says that, oh Arjun, the Vedic rituals that you deal with trigunas, you must rise above these trigunas. Okay, you must be able to look beyond these trigunas and explore yourself in Trigunatit. If you remember, Mohit told that what Shiv, one of the name of the Shiv, he told Trigunatit, and he wants to say to Arjun that just rise above these gunas and work towards the spiritual progress. And the only way one can rise above these dualities and is stay eternally uh, uh, this way only. If you can go beyond these gunas, if you can go beyond this thought of material needs, only then you can rise above the dualities, and only then you can stay eternally merged with the Brahma. And for this, if you know that if let's say I want to take an example. Let's say I take an example, and if I'm thirsty, we can quench our thirst by going to a small well or probably a small pond. Okay, but after all, these ponds are going to dry away in summers. Okay, and again we'll be thirsty. Okay, this way small wells cannot, or probably small ponds cannot fulfill our desire of will cannot quench our thirst. Instead, what we have to become, we have to go to the banks of Aviral Ma Ganga, which we know that is never going to die, and then we can never be worried about the being thirsty again. So what I want to convey is that no doubt all these karam kands, pujas, vrats are just like small ponds. Okay, they're going to just deliver some results. You're going to get the fruits of it, because every karma has got some reaction, right? Every action has got some reaction, so you're going to get some result. If done with Shraddha, that is fine. But understand that these will only solve your life's issues temporarily. They are not going to solve the eternal issues of your life. Okay, and instead, if you want to progress to the spiritual path, we need the resort of Ma Ganga. We need to resort, and we need to go to Ma Ganga and take the like, if you are the same way I'm saying, if you are thirsty, we cannot quench our thirst by the small pond. Okay, one day it is going to dry up. So that way I'm trying to say that is what is explained in the next slok by Bhagwan. That is yavanartha utpane sarvatah lo samlokduke tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanatah. Whatever purpose is served by small well of water is naturally served in all respect by a larger lake. Similarly, one who realizes the absolute truth fulfills the purpose of all Vedas. That is, Bhagwan wants to say, just give me a minute. Okay, just give me a minute. Um, okay, so Bhagwan wants to say, just give me a minute. This is, okay. Okay, so Bhagwan wants to say via Shlok 46 that a goal fulfilled by a small well is fulfilled by a large lake also. Similarly, a self-realized person also fulfills the purpose of the all Vedas. Uh, that is, if one goes on to embark upon the journey of the larger journey, that is the journey of the spirituality, all his material desires will, or all these things will get fulfilled also. Will get fulfilled also. This is what shlok. This is what I understand from the shlok. Now we come to the crux of our question, that is, what are our duties? Okay. We always will find people talking about karma and duty, and I'm sure that all of these questions are in your minds also right now. Okay, how to identify yourself with the duties? Okay, how to identify yourself with the duties? This is a constant confrontation that people feel. That understand that broadly the duties are of two types. One duty is towards family, society, country, state, and world in general, and other duties based on our gunas. How we react in any situation is determined by these three gunas, that is sattva, rajas, and tamas. Okay. Uh, to understand, let us first understand the gunas. Okay. So gunas are, as I told you, these are sattva, tamas, and rajas. You can read on your screen also as of now. What is sattva? Sattva guna is characterized by your happiness, knowledge, light, anything that makes reveals awareness, and interprets. See, this is what is going to give. Satgun is characterized by happiness, knowledge, and all these things. Okay. And Rajas Gun is all about passion, it's all about attachment, it's all about restlessness. It is going to make you egoistic, self centered, restless, and peace seeking. And Tamas is darkness, ignorance, delusive, and makes you lazy, wicked, and confused. So, this is how your three gunas are there. That given that we have understood all these gunas, now let us try to take some example. Like, let's say, assume that you're born in with a Rajas Gun Pradhanta, then you will be interested in physical action, because what Raj is going to do, it is going to make you competitive. So you'll be interested in physical action, fights, and everything. So what is your duty? As per Gunas, your duty is to keep people safe. So police or properly getting into armed force will serve the nature well. If somebody is born with the uh, proper Rajgun, and then he's interested in money, so probably getting into business will create some job and will fulfill lives. And if we are born with some sattvic gun, it is better that we keep guiding society, keep guiding people with better values and all those things. Now, an important point to note here is that guna can change over period of your life. Okay, like guna can change. Okay, so we will have to readjust our duties too. Now, as we know, our duties, we have three choices. We could well run away from these choices. We can do them in expectation of something in return, and we can do them just as our duties, even though they may or not give anything back to us. Okay. So understand that, do we really have a choice? Okay. If we run away from our duties, they will come back chasing any day. Okay. We have to do it someday or later. In contrast, if we choose to do duties with expectation in return, it would create a new karmic bond between the people involved. Okay. Let's say if I want to do duty, and if I want to do duty with the point number two, that is, if I have something to expectation return, then obviously it is going to create some karmic bond, and we'll have to repay it either in this life or in the next life. Okay. So what is the way ahead? What is the way ahead if you are really serious about freeing yourself from karmic bondages and the cycle of birth and death? We have no other option but to follow the real choice, that is during our duties as duties without expecting anything in return. Okay. But it is easier said than done. Okay. Many of us find it very difficult to do anything without expecting something in return. We need some motivation, right? So for people like us, another option is to do whatever you want to do it as a service to God. This is what is devotional theme. Like, for example, if I'm in a hospital and if I'm serving someone, basically I'm serving a form of God. So this is one way of doing all these things, and understanding that, okay, if I'm feeding someone, I'm feeding one form of God. So basically you have some sort of motivation there. So by doing this, you are going to spiritualize entire context of your life. Everything that you are doing will help you grow spiritually. If we can do that, we don't have to do anything else. It will purify our minds and make us eligible for the knowledge and the bhakti, and that is going to take us to the self-realization. And that's the secret of uh, uh, what you can say. That's the secret of your um, that's the secret of the karma yoga that Bhagwan wants to say. Okay. Another thing that you might have experienced is that even after putting a lot of efforts, things did not turn out the way you wanted. Okay. But remember, there are also times when you had spent very less effort and still you got success. So how would you justify this? So always remember that efforts are only the necessary, but not the sufficient conditions for the success. There is a non-linear relationship between efforts and outcomes. So what's the way ahead? Do our work to the best of our abilities, and then accept the result as they come. If you don't like the result, just continue reattempting. And this is what has been embodied in this particular shloka, which is very much famed, is open to all sort of interpretations from all sort of people. And Mohit has explained it very well in the previous lecture itself. That is karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phal hetur bhumo te sango stva karmani. You have only the right to perform your duties. Okay, you don't have rights to fruits or results of your action. Okay, this is particular to the manav yoni. That is what he was saying in the previous my previous speaker Mohit was saying. You don't have rights to the fruits and results of your action. Never think that you are the achiever of the fruits of your action. At the same time, never give up your duties. With all these words, I want to sum up whatever I wanted to say. I hope you might have liked it. Please do let me know. Okay. Thank you.
बहुत ही सुंदर। इससे अच्छा एक्सप्लेनेशन शायद इस वाले श्लोक का हो ही नहीं सकता। एंड लास्ट वाली स्लाइड इज वेरी वेरी मोटिवेटिंग एक्चुअली भैया। So if Pooja want to continue, then we can continue, else we can end the session.
Probably we'll end the
Pooja?
session, and Pooja will continue the next session, I guess, because
Okay,
there is
okay,
only 3 minutes left to the session.
okay, great. Okay, let's meet.
Okay, भैया.
Okay, take care.